This is Danny Phone for Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat in Liverpool in the function room. Is that what you call this, Spencer, of Anfield? Think so?
Well, it's Anfield, isn't it? It's like, I know that, yeah, I would say that this is, yeah, it's probably a function. It's a pretty cool place, to be fair, isn't it? It's like been wicked down on the pitch. It's been a really good press conference, actually. I've really enjoyed it, yeah, and the sun's out as well. How bad?
Didn't even give you a proper introduction there, Spencer. My apologies. Joined, of course, by the esteemed Spencer Oliver. Spencer, how have you been? How are you keeping?
Danny, I'm all good, my friend, all good. Mad busy with the stuff that we had out in Saudi, coming straight back. Now up to Liverpool. We got the O2 next week, Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields. Then we're up to Manchester for Joe Joyce, Joe Parker. All over the place, mate, which is good. Like, boxing's on a real buzz at the moment, on a real high. You know, we're getting these big fights being made, and yeah, I'm loving it at the moment, Dan.
We're here obviously for Liam Smith up against the Sam McKinney win there on Saturday night. You touched on the buzz around boxing, one of those bigger fights, Chris Eubank, Conor Benn. Liam Smith was arguably the loser when that fight was made. It was sort of tipped that he would get that fight upon Sky. He's fighting Sam McKinney. Dangerous opponent in there Saturday night, potential lively.
Yeah, he is. McKinney is a very dangerous guy. He took Sam Egginson out in a couple of rounds in a big shock. He's only lost a couple of fights. It's a high risk, low reward for Liam Smith that puts a lot on the line, because obviously he was hoping for that fight with Eubank. He wants to win up a world title shot as well, former world champion. So yeah, it's a big risk for him. And if he comes through this one, and obviously Eubank comes through against Conor Benn, if that does happen, that fight still may be made. That may be the fight that we see next. If it doesn't, then Liam, you know, he's got his options. If he comes through here, Charlo may move up. There's loads of moving parts in the super welterweight division at the moment, so who knows what's going to happen. But I know that ultimately Liam, at 34 years of age, wants another world title shot. That's what he's chasing. That's his dream. And he would like it here, actually, at Anfield, because I know that Anfield want to host a big world title event. So that's what I'm saying. If the Eubank fight, if Eubank does come through and he comes through, that's a possible fight that we could be made here, maybe next spring or whatever. Who knows? Yeah, there's so much going on at the moment in boxing. You never know what's going to happen, do you? Is Fury going to fight Usyk? You know what I mean? What does Joshua do next? Where's he going next? Who's he going to come back against? You know, Joe Joyce, Joe Parker. It's now for the interim title. So does Joshua go in with a winner of that? Who knows, mate? There's loads going on.
It's actually quite hard to keep track of. You touched on Joshua there. This is the first time I've spoke to you since Saudi. There's obviously a clip of you that sort of went a bit viral, consoling AJ, and then Simon Jordan of TalkSport. I have not to say, I think you described you as sycophantic.
Sycophantic. What does that mean, by the way?
I think it means, as my understanding, the way it's like nice, but sort of fake nice, trying to be nice for your own benefit. I think that's what it means.
All right, I hope Simon's listening to this, because I don't think he knew what it meant either. Yeah, because you know, I don't
think he listens to Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat, mate.
No, do you know what? He knows his boxing, Simon. To be fair, I love working with Simon. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He follows his boxing. A lot, but you know, in that situation, you had to be there in that situation to understand where Joshua was at that moment. In that moment, I just looked at him and I went, fuck, this is a mate now that needs a little bit of help, and I just wanted to lend him some support. And whether that was right or wrong, that's what I done. And I wasn't saying that he won the fight. I wasn't saying by no means that. I said after the 9th round, you was in that fucking fight. I had it all level going into the 10th round, but he lost the 10th, lost the 11th, lost the 12th. So I'm not saying that there was any, you know, sort of like the fight should have gone any way. I'm just saying Usyk was a clear winner. And I think that people sort of jumped on that a little bit too much and was like, what are you fucking talking about, close fight? Well, up until the 9th, it was a close fight. And if I'm wrong for supporting Joshua at that time, anyone would do that for their mate. Like, and that's the truth of it. Like, after what, you know, everything that he had done and stupidly got in the ring through them, he recognised that was wrong. And I think that's why he was so upset in the press conference, that he knew that he'd done wrong by grabbing them belts, you know, especially with what was going on with the Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. You know, Alexander Usyk stealing his moment away. That was a stupid thing to do. But I think all his emotions had come out. I don't think emotionally he was there at that time. May have been a little bit concussed or whatever, and he done what he done. But then I'm just looking at Joshua at that moment, and I thought I just need to lend him a little support, and that's what it was.
I think we sort of live in this generation now of social media where people they're quick to pile in, mountains get made out of molehills. There's always some form of beef between boxers, even media personalities like yourself now. Another sort of I know there's a fracas that's sort of emerged is between your mate Simon and Gareth Davies. You said you're just off the phone with with Simon chatting about Gareth. Any wee scoops for us on what was being said?
Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm going to set up a fight. I think between Gareth and Simon Jordan.
There's my title. Thanks. So
we could even do it at Crystal Palace. He used to own Crystal Palace, didn't he? Yeah. No. Yeah, Gareth. I don't know what Gareth was going on about there. If I'm honest, like he was talking, and what did he say to him? He was a
higher mouthpiece, something like that. I don't. That's still a quote.
Going on about, and he was saying, you know, I don't understand because Simon's never boxed before. She said, I go, well, you haven't boxed before either. So what? You're sort of like you're sort of digging a hole for yourself here. So yeah, no, it was all very strange what Gareth done there. I'd like to speak to Gareth about it because I don't understand why he was going into Simon, because Simon generally is a very good judge. He watches a lot of boxing and he's a very good judge of a fight as well. And yeah, Gareth sort of, and it's a work colleague as well. He turned on him a little bit. So I don't know. Perhaps only Gareth can tell you what all that was about.
You were saying a bit earlier there about how crazy boxing is. Another whole sort of segment of this circus is the influencer boxing. Seems to be growing and growing and growing. The numbers are just insane. What are your thoughts on it? We obviously saw that KSI card where he fought two fellas who quite frankly looked like they'd never been in a ring before in the one night. It's obviously now they've signed this long-term deal with Zeal. Is it good for boxing, or do you think that it's going to start eating into real sort of trade shows like we're having here Saturday night?
No, I think it's only beneficial for the sport. I think the more shows the better, especially with the KSI one. I was working for Talk Sport on that actually, and we went there and the atmosphere was different, but it was insane. 8:30 in the morning, there was a mile-long queue for people waiting to get into the arena. You don't get that at boxing, but the atmosphere in there was more like a carnival type, where everyone was happy. It weren't like you didn't see fights like you'd see at boxing shows and whatnot. Everything, it was like a real carnival atmosphere, and everyone turned up to see KSI. We didn't care about the opponent or how it was. Where are your hardcore boxing fans to go, fuck's that? He's rubbish. I ain't paid to see that. There, they just wanted to see KSI going, do the ring walk, going in, boxing twice. So, look, it brings new eyeballs to the sport because the young kids were watching, I like boxing, I want to watch boxing, whether that's Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury or Usyk that they watch, or Chris Eubank or Conor Benn, whoever it is, these kids, you'll get a ripple effect of kids coming through. So, look, I thought actually I enjoyed it. If you take it for what it was, I thought for entertainment value, it was it was unbelievable, and they will continue doing it.
Yeah, 100%, as I said. As if the broadcasters sort of keep saying the results from it, they're not going to stop, are they?
No, man, they're never going to stop. Look, when they're pulling in the numbers that they're pulling in, you see the numbers that they're doing there. That's why the likes of DAZN or Sky or Talk Sport that were covering it at the time, they cover it because they're getting huge numbers. You can't deny that. When you're getting huge numbers, you got to roll with it, man. That's the world we live in. Dan, we just had this conversation about this weird world that we live in now, that you say one thing of like, you lend your mate a little bit of support and all of a sudden you get hammered for it. Like, Jesus, really? Is that Is that the main focus of what happened in that fight? My interview with Joshua afterwards. Come on, let's get over that and talk about the fight and the magnitude of the fight, etc. But that's the world we live in, man. It is what it is.
As you say, you need a thick skin these days.
Mate, I was like a rhino. Don't worry.
That'll be all from me, Spencer. Thanks very much, mate. Enjoy your time, Liverpool.
Mate, enjoyed talking to you.